Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to a brand new video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the future of competitive Hearthstone, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So there's obviously not too much I can talk about besides the current information that we have. Blizzard is not very transparent with their future plans regarding esports and the design of the game. Basically we get information in almost real time. When they announce a new expansion, it is pretty much 1 month before the release, and then we get like new cards revealed on a daily basis, and that's like the best we get in terms of transparency from Blizzard. We have like no idea, for example, even now the competitive scene has like no idea when the new real season starts, the next year's HCT. People are just guessing, maybe it starts in November, maybe it starts in December. Again, absolutely no information, no transparency. So what do I want to actually talk about in today's video? We can actually take a look at the sets that are rotating out with the next year's rotation, and we know which expansions are staying in the game, and it is actually very interesting, and it looks very promising so far. So the two expansions that are staying in the game for the next year's rotation are Knights of the Frozen Throne, the most recent expansion, and Ungoro. I went over both expansions and it is really not too bad. It is looking really good, to be honest. So if Blizzard is nailing the first expansion with the rotation, because as soon as the rotation happens, a new expansion will be released, and in the first cycle, the first 3 months of the new cycle, we will have to work with the three existing or remaining expansions. Gaara and Knights of the Frozen Throne together with the classic set and the new expansion is gonna be an amazing cycle, and I'm really looking forward to that if Blizzard is nailing the next expansion. So at least for the first 3 months of the new year, it looks like we will have some great Hearthstone to look forward to if, once again, Blizzard is nailing the first expansion of the rotation. So which are the 3 expansions that are rotating out of the game, and why is it so amazing that those expansions are gone, and which are the most important cards that are leaving the standard format after the rotation? So the 3 expansions that are rotating out are Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, Whispers of the Old Gods, and Karazhan. Some of the worst expansions and the most boring ones in terms of competitive play. I want to go quickly over some noticeable cards that are clearly bad for competitive Hearthstone, that see play in so many different decks and have seen play for the past 2 years in way too many decks, and are played in competitive Hearthstone and are very bad for the competitive scene. Raza is rotating out, not just Raza but also Kazakus and all the Kazakus Reno themed cards, and this is super awesome because the Razakus priest deck is super powerful, especially with the upcoming nerfs which are happening in the next 3 days. Everyone is predicting this deck to be super overpowered, so yeah, those cards will be gone, and that seems to be awesome. Kazakus, a really bad card for competitive Hearthstone just because of the huge amount of RNG that goes into those potions. Yes, there's a lot of skill involved into making potions, but at the end of the day, it's just too much variance in being lucky compared to not being lucky when you're choosing a potion. And on top of it, if you pick like the Resurrection Potion, there's another RNG aspect to it. You can summon just the best 3 minions that died or the worst 3 minions that died. Absolutely hate the card. The Jades are rotating out. Again, fantastic. Jade Druid is just one of the worst designed mechanics for competitive play. I was begging for a Jade Idol nerf for pretty much the past 2 years. Like, you knew immediately that Jade Druid is a hard counter deck to every slow deck in the game. I think Jade Druid alone killed like 60 or 70 different possible variations of control decks that would have been viable in competitive play if Jade Druid wouldn't exist. And the only deck that pushed Jade Druid out was the Quest Rogue before the nerf, because it was hard countering Jade Druid. Another deck that was hard countering every slow deck, that was just hard countering it more than Jade Druid did. And yes, Jade Druid is getting nerfed, but you know, we are so close to the year's rotation. I mean, Jade Druid is getting indirectly nerfed by the Innovate nerf. I mean, Jade Druid never got nerfed, even though it should have, but finally it is rotating out, and yeah, it's a good thing. Another noticeable card is Draconic Operative. When Draconic Operative was playable in competitive scene, I think it was absolutely horrible. The Dragon Priest mirrors came pretty much down to who got more Draconic Operatives from the Netherspite Historians, another card that is also rotating out, thankfully. And yeah, it was just horrible. And then you just get lucky, get the best cards from the opponent's deck, like Tyrions and Kazakus. It's just horrible for competitive Hearthstone. And thankfully this card is rotating out. Right now it sees almost no play just because of the BlackRock expansion not being in the game anymore, because yeah, of the last year's rotation, but finally we get rid of this terrible card as well next year. And another super exciting card that is rotating out, Patches the Pirate, and alongside with it cards like the Nizov's First Mate and the Bloodsail Cultist. Finally, since day one of the Patches introduction, we have played Pirate Warrior, and we have never stopped seeing Pirate Warrior for the past 2 years. Absolutely boring, and just saw play all the time in so many different lineups and decks and ladder, and finally we get rid of those stupid pirates. Patches sees play in like every single aggressive deck. I'm so happy for this card to rotate out that we finally get to see some other cards being played in aggressive decks. So again, amazing for the innovation and for a new meta. Another cool card that is rotating out is the Dirty Red. A lot of people like this as a tech decision to counter Quest Mage and whatnot, but at the end of the day it's a horrible RNG card. You play this, you don't really know, like if you really rely on pulling, let's say, an Alexstrasza against the Freeze Mage, you will never know for sure if he has the Alexstrasza in his hand or if he has multiple minions in his hand. And even when you play the Dirty Red, you are getting pretty much lucky at what you pull, and if both players are playing Dirty Red, this is just horrible. It just comes down to being lucky. Horrible design in my opinion, and horrible for competitive Hearthstone, and thankfully this card is also rotating out. Even though it is a unique effect and it's cool to see such effect, the RNG aspect really kills the flavor of the card for me. Another cool card that is rotating out is the Firelands Portal. I have nothing against the power level of the Firelands Portal, because this enabled burn control mage decks that really sees the board control past turn 7 through the Firelands Portal. The bad aspect of the Firelands Portal is definitely the RNG. You can just high roll Earth Elementals and Leroys and Doomguards, and that just gives you so much additional free value for no reason, just because you got lucky. Horrible design. Thankfully this card is also gone. Another cool card is also leaving the standard format is the Bubbling Book. Yes, the infamous Bubbling Book that helped Pavel become the world champion of 2016. Pretty sure he is not gonna be happy about this card leaving the game, but I'm pretty sure Amnesiac is one of the happiest players on this planet. And another very similar card to the Bubbling Book is the Swashbuckler from the Rogue. Swashbuckler can, again, same amount of variance as Bubbling Book, but on top of it, it was pulling up Patches and like thinning out your deck, which is very important for Miracle Rogues. Just a stupid OP card and a huge RNG aspect to it. Thankfully this card is rotating out as well. Maelstrom Portal from the Shaman, very similar. A huge high roll potential. You can just, take out a bunch of minions and then high roll, get a mana worm for free, and then you have to follow up with another spell. It's just stupid high roll card. Huge RNG aspect and high roll potential to it. Like whatever minion you get is already above average value because it's just an Arcane Explosion power creep, but you had insane high roll potential in the card on top of it for no reason. Again, finally this card is also rotating out. Another card that has like also an RNG aspect to it is the Silverware Golem. Again, happy this card is rotating out because this might enforce Blizzard to not focus on the discard mechanic for Warlock, because again, discard mechanic extremely terrible for competitive play because of the huge amount of RNG, draw RNG and discard RNG. It's just super bad for competitive play. Happy that this card is also gone. Barnes, another card from Karazhan that is rotating out. One of the worst designed cards for competitive play. Just insane draw RNG and high roll potential with this card. If you're playing a quote-unquote Barnes deck and you hit the Barnes on turn 4, it just catapults your deck to a tier 1 power level just because you happen to draw the barns, and you know, 3 out of 4 games you will not hit the barns, so it's just a stupid high roll deck, and I'm happy this is gone as well. Medivh is rotating out again, another terrible card for competitive Hearthstone. Not just because of the power level of Medivh, that is fine, late game cards should be powerful, but the RNG aspect once again. You know, you can just high roll, high roll, high roll, multiple high rolls, you can get the best minions for the mana cost, or just, you know, the worst minions. Just terrible for competitive Hearthstone. Too much impact on the game, or depending on what you get. Just a bad card, and I'm happy it leaves the game. The Zorf and Khatoon are rotating out, which is very cool because we have mostly played Nazorf as a late game finisher just because it's so incredibly powerful, and it will be super cool to see other late game cards replacing the Nazorfs in terms of win condition. And yeah, just because of that, I'm happy that Nazorf is leaving the game. Vilefin Inquisitor, the Paladin Murloc 1-drop. It is like essential for the Murloc Paladin deck. Yes, the Wally there is getting nerfed, but it might not be enough to make people stop playing Murloc Paladin. But as soon as Vilefin Inquisitor rotates out, I think that might be enough that people will go away from Murloc Paladin and hopefully are coming up with new types of aggro paladin / midrange paladin versions, and yeah, just to freshen up the game. Evolve is rotating out as well, and Devolve. Oh my god, this is awesome. So much RNG. I don't know when Blizzard started making Shaman the RNG class. I would say right from the beginning with cards like Lightning Storm, but oh my god, Token Shaman was unfortunately the strongest archetype for Shaman, and it was just purely based on RNG. Like, you can just high roll with the evolved doppelgangster, get like cards like Hymen and Cairn, or you just get the 1/1. It's just so stupid. And Devolve is the same way. You just have an insane amount of, you know, sometimes you devolve a Doomsayer and then he gets a 2/3, which is stronger than the actual Doomsayer. It's just terrible. Thankfully these cards are rotating out, and hopefully they will get replaced with more consistent non-RNG cards. Another very interesting card that is rotating out is the Eater of Secrets. This card kept decks like Quest Mage in check for never becoming too powerful, and with the next rotation Quest Mage is still a viable deck because the quests are not rotating out, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how this will shape the metagame and impact the metagame, and hopefully Blizzard will not do the biggest mistake and make Quest Mage like overpowered, because that would ruin the competitive scene right from the start for the next year. If Jade Druid is rotating out finally, and then they would buff Quest Mage and there's no Eater of Secrets, then that would just replace Jade Druid as the anti-control deck. Hopefully this will not happen. And the last remaining cards that are rotating out, which are horrible for competitive Hearthstone, are Isharash, just because again the RNG aspect, the Barnes into Isharash combo, and the RNG, all the different minions you can pull and whatnot. That is not too bad. I think Isharash as a standalone would be fine. The biggest problem was definitely him being pulled out from the Barnes, so that is pretty awesome. And Yogg-Saron, oh my god, Yogg-Saron. Ripping pepperonis, you won't be missed. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I'm looking really forward to the next year's competitive meta. If Blizzard is nailing the first expansion of the next year's rotation, we will have some great Hearthstone to look forward to, at least in the first period of the first HCT of 2018. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Make sure to check out my daily streams. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. See you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day and peace!